Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. He said that if you do not understand it, you will pay it, and if you understand it, you will earn it. Welcome, my name is Daniel, and today we'll discuss more about compound interest in finance. Compound interest. Compound interest is one of the most important basic financial concepts you need to understand in order to properly manage your money and plan your financial future. Compound interest is computed on the sum of the original principal and the accrued interest. It's compound interest compounded on the interest that you earn. It is the interest added and compounded on the interest and the amount as time goes by. So one interesting thing about compound interest is that in the initial years, the increment are so trivial, and that's why so many people really don't consider it. But over time, it leads to exponential growth. And so I will be discussing examples here about compound interest so that you try to understand the difference between maybe compound interest and simple interest and how it plays. So for example, let's take a very simple example of a person who takes $5,000 and decides to invest this amount of money over a period of 20 years. 20 years, and he's earning an 8% interest per annum. So if you take this example, this is how it is going to look like when we are considering simple interest. I want to distinguish between compound and simple interest. So if it is simple interest, it's going to look like this. In the first year, this $5,000 is going to earn $400. In the second year, it's going to earn us another $400. In the third year, it's going to earn us another $400. So for the 20-year period, 20 years, we're going to earn a total of $8,000. So this is simple interest. You just compute, multiply the amount plus the interest per every year. So over the 20 years period of time, we will earn $8,000. Originally, we had $5,000. So our future value at the end of the 20 years will be basically 5,000 plus 8,000. We'll have a total of future amount, it is $13. That is simple interest. So we're going to consider the same example, but this time around, let's see what happens if we are considering compound interest. If it's compound interest, the same example where we have $5,000 period is 20 years, and the interest is 8%. So what happens? This is how it is going to look like. In the first year, we will earn $400. In the second year, we're going to earn $432. If you check, it's a very small increment from a whole year just earning $32, but over time, this is going to be huge. The snowball effect over time becomes very, very pronounced. So in the third year, we will earn 466.56. I've done some calculations here to just save your time. So this is what you will earn in the third year. So in the 20-year period, the interest that we will earn, it is 1,72628 is $0.28. Now the total interest that we will earn for the whole period will be 4.79. So this is the total interest that we will earn. Remember, we had invested 5,000, so the future value will be 5,000 plus 18,304, and you get a total of 23,304. So this is the amount of money that we will earn at the end of the period. Check previously when we considered simple interest, the total amount of money we had was 13,000, and when you are considering compound interest over the same period of time, you realize that there is an almost $10,000 difference, a difference of almost $10,000. So basically, that's how different or how powerful compound interests can be. So I want us to again consider two more interesting examples to try and really grasp this concept of compound interest. I want you to take a scenario of a lady called Mary who decides to invest her money over a long period of time into an index fund that mimics the S&P 500 index. Now, as you know, the S&P 500 index is just a collection of 500 companies that are traded in the New York Stock Exchange. So she decides to invest her money in an index fund that mimics the S&P 500 index. Reason, it has been shown over time that the S&P 500 normally earns around 9% interest per annum, 900 interest per annum. So what we are going to consider in this example is Mary, who is 20 years today. She's 20 and she plans to retire at 60. So she'll have a total of 40 years where she wants to invest her money. Now, she does not have any saved amount of money somewhere, so she plans to invest every month. She will be investing $300 every month for a period of 40 years. And the interest rate is 9%. 9%. This is the rate of interest she will be earning over that period of time. So the question is, how much money will she have earned by the end of the period? Now, at the end of the 40 years, the amount of money that Mary will have actually put aside and earned will be 12 times 300, that is per year, times 40 years. And you see she'll have saved a total of $100 $144,000. $144,000. $144,000. This is the amount of money that she will have gotten or saved from her pocket. But at the end of the 40 years, this is not all the money that she will be having. This is not all the money that she will be having. She should not just be having the times 300 times 40 to. So if you plot a simple graph to like demonstrate the amount of money she will be having, let's say this is 0, this is let's say 1, 10, 30. You let this be years. This is the value. All these are 100, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. A graph will look something like this. And at the end of the 40-year period, maybe we will earn a total of $1.27 million. That is the amount of money that Mary will have earned by investing $30,000 every month for the next 40 years of her life. Now, I want us to consider another example, a similar example, but this time around, Mary does not start in her 20s. Rather, she starts in her 30s. Starts in her 30s. So Mary, originally, she began in her 20s. Now she will wait until she is 30 years old. She will be investing the same amount of money, that is 30,000 every month. The interest will be 9%. So 30 to 60, she'll have 30 years to invest. So period will be 30 years. Now, the total amount of money she will have gotten from her pocket to save over that period of time will be 300 times 12 times 30, which will be $108,000. This is the amount of money that Mary will be having at the end of that period. Notice something interesting here. Do another example of graph. We have 0, so we have 1, 10, 20, and 30, and again here is 100, so we have 1 million, so we have 2. And we plot this graph. If you plot that graph like that, you realize at the end of this period, she will have earned a total of 500. This is the amount of money she will have earned. That is 514.30. One here. So that is 500,000, 130, 314,000. That's the amount of money she will have earned at the end of the period. Notice, when she began in her 20s, she earned a total of 1.27 million. So notice that difference, that in just a period of 10 years, without changing anything, without changing the amount of money she's putting aside, or the interest rate, but she varies the time. So that now instead of starting in her 20s, she starts when she is 30. The difference becomes, this is had done these calculations here. So we had 1274814. This was she, and this 1.27 subtract 504, and you get 760, 560. So this is the difference. Just varying the period. she will have lost over $760,000 simply because of not starting quite early. Now, from these examples, we are able to see that compound interest can really be a very interesting concept. It's a very interesting concept. The only challenge is that for you to really get anything of significance, you got to start early and invest over a longer period of time, because what really makes it powerful, it's time. It's time. If you invest maybe, let's say, 10,000 every other month, another person waits 20 years later to invest a million, you realize that you may end up earning more because of the power of time. Now, if you're a young person, you may not be having money on your side, but you have time, so that you can start investing very small amount of money over a long period of time, and this will work for you. Now, for the older people, if you have not perhaps started considering compound interest in your investment, a Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Therefore, you have no excuse of saying you never began long time, and therefore you need to start. You don't need to start today. You need to start today, and maybe you may not earn as much as you'd have earned, but you will still earn something. Now, basically, that was the lesson of today about compound interest, and that is why Einstein said that it is the eighth wonder of the world, because with a very small increment, or with very small numbers invested over a long period of time, factoring in compound interest, you can have humongous advantage. That's why he says that if you do not understand it, you will pay it, and if you understand it, you will earn it. Many people normally go using cards so that you have loans in your card, and you, without understanding that debt is compounded, and that compound somebody else is earning, and actually you are the one who is paying it. But if you understand it, you know that you can be putting aside $1,000 and put into stocks. The S&P 500 is one of the examples. There are many examples, and you will earn that advantage of a longer period of time. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel so that you may get to see more videos like this whenever we upload them. And thank you so much. And you can also share and perhaps even comment down there. Thank you.